The developers just finished conducting a meeting with a player council to review the proposed changes for the equipment system. And these new changes are looking pretty good. So stick around in this video for a review of what the developers have proposed. And we're going to walk through all the slides they shared because, man, I think this new set of improvements to the equipment system is looking really good. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and I feel very fortunate to be among the selected number of players that get to convene with the developers and give feedback on updates before they actually get rolled out and put into the game. And in this particular meeting about the equipment system, the developers gave permission to review all the slides and to make a video talking about these proposed changes. And I want to be super clear at the front of the video that these are proposed changes. This is just what they're thinking right now. They could change this. It could change a little. It could change a lot. This may get thrown out entirely. But their current thinking is as follows. Let's walk through the deck. Based off of the governor's feedback to how the developers were going to change the equipment system, players felt it was unfair for players who own the old equipment. New players can just use the same materials and forge better quality stuff. So basically punishing your older players. The new equipment led to a decrease in your account value. I think instantly, like, I don't know, something like $30,000 worth of materials on my account will be kind of shredded. It's maybe an exaggeration, but maybe not. And blueprints redeemed with the conquest coins and of other levels abruptly become unavailable. Right, so if you were working on something, all of a sudden the patterns were going to become unavailable, and iconic crystals that were spent were ultimately wasted. So there was a lot of really strong feedback that players gave about the proposed system for equipment and how that was going to work. And in case you missed it, I made a dedicated video walking through that way in depth, all the card up in the top. But essentially, they were going to put new patterns in where the old patterns are. Your old patterns just kind of lose value, and you would have to delete your legendaries and lose half the materials. It was not feeling good. It really wasn't, okay? And what the request from governors was as follows. They wanted to use the old equipment and upgrade materials to get the new equipment. They want a refund on the materials that you had used in forging the old equipment because, like, abruptly, those equipment is not good anymore. It's not relevant anymore. And we wanted to convert unused blueprints into the new blueprint, so I like that suggestion. And players proposed upgrading level 45 equipment to level 50 equipment with new blueprints and legendary materials, keeping the original special talents and iconic attributes. Right, because you spend so many materials on the chance game of getting special talents, and the iconic crystals, we've been taught to, like, hunt them, seek them, treasure them, right? Make a collection of them. So what happened next? This was the previous forging process. To get to level 50 equipment, you would have to get the new level 50 blueprint, dismantle your old legendary, losing half the materials, losing the pattern, losing the iconics, and you would forge the new level 50 equipment. That is what they had proposed for the new equipment. And this is a timeline of the equipment system. In 2019, hey, I was there when they released equipment. In 2020, they did an update adjusting forging materials. There were originally 8 materials. I don't know if y'all know this. Do you remember? There were so many materials before. They upgraded the equipment attributes, added new seasonal equipment and accessories. They did a equipment system adjustment, and that is, I think, the refinement system got changed. And then they added the iconic system in 2022, and now it's 2023, and it's like, hey, so is the equipment system just a dead end, or is there something new? And they obviously want to have something new here. So the revised plan, okay? So up top, it says governors need to dismantle their old equipment with a great loss of materials. Old equipment can be further upgraded. And I think this is the new approach in the bottom. Better attributes get added to your existing equipment. Same materials that you needed before will be used. It says discard level 50 equipment, focus on enhancing the old equipment, and simplify the new equipment system. So instead of hunting new stuff, you basically take your existing stuff and make it better. And let me just show you this picture, because I think if there were one slide I was going to show you, this is got to be the slide, which is basically kind of what I had proposed where I said, hey, you should make a system that scales infinitely into the future for whatever that future needs to look like. So basically, there's going to be sort of tiering to your legendary equipment. The sort of tier 1 of a piece of legendary equipment has a certain set of attributes, and also it's got iconic attributes. If you then upgrade the equipment, it can become sort of tier 2, tier 3, then tier 4. And to do the upgrade, you need more of the existing pattern. And you need more materials. So let me say that again. There's no new patterns. You don't need any more iconic crystals. It retains your special talent that you got on it. You retain your iconic status. And what you get when you upgrade to a higher tier of equipment is just more stats. So you take the existing equipment that you've already got, you take the existing patterns, and you use them to go and upgrade using some extra materials to go and do that. So I think this is really good because it places value on the materials we already have. It places value on the patterns we already have. It places value on the equipment and the talents and the iconics that we already have. You just sort of can now upgrade the equipment more. You can have better stuff if you have more patterns and more materials, which, like, okay. That puts a lot of, like, value back into the things we've already been collecting, which feels good. I mean, as a patented hoarder of things, I mean, I'll admit it. These days, I don't know. I like to save for critical moments right before KVK actually happens and I'm going to fight, and then boom, invest a bunch of stuff in case the meta's changed, right? And that's led to some hoarding tendencies, which now pay off in spades, because if you've been saving patterns, saving materials, like I advised in one of my prior videos about equipment, here we are. So what does this mean if the developers go through with this for the sort of things you should be doing now? It means all materials suddenly become super, 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 super relevant. You want to hoard materials, especially if you're a rally lead or a garrison captain. It means you want to hoard patterns if you're a rally leader or garrison captain for the troop type of your choice. And what we don't know is how many tiers of this system will be available initially. We don't know how big the buffs are going to be. This is still very much like in a proposal stage. When this is going to come, we don't exactly know yet. They did, I think, have some idea of when they might want to release it in the meeting, but they didn't really want to make any commitments because, like, obviously there's still a lot to figure out. But I think that this system is really good. The only downsides I could think of is that if you're a newer player to the game, you're losing out on what would have been a really great upgrade path. Like, a newer player had a great deal in this view of the world. Man, they didn't even have to bother with the old legendaries. They just get the new hotness. They get meta real fast, right? So newer players in this flavor of things kind of lose out compared to the original proposal. And the other thing that, you know, I still would love if it changed, but I don't know that it will, is that you lose half your materials when you dismantle. So you're still super married to whatever legendaries you craft. Like, you better be really sure you're very happy with the legendaries you make before you start tiering them up and talenting them, because, like, oh, the commitment of materials just goes up and up and up and up, and then the dismantle's like, all right, get wrecked. So I don't know if that's going to get addressed. I still really feel like it would be cool to allow players to experiment with different things, right? And like, hey, if I got a set of cav today and I want to lose all my patterns but get all my materials back to make it a set of infantry or whatever, right? Like, I think that'd be cool. But overall, I would say this is a million times better than the original proposal. This new proposal I like a lot. I feel very rewarded for having collected materials, for having collected patterns. And the sort of question I have is like, okay, so when we do these upgrades, how many stats are we going to get? And how many patterns do we need? My understanding is that you only need one pattern to do a tier upgrade to the next tier. So, like, how many tiers are they going to release all at once? It could be that, like, as an example, the way that this would work is, you know, it's level 45 at tier 1, and then it becomes level 46 at tier 2. At tier 3, it gains a level. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's still a lot of details that they both didn't talk about and still kind of need to get worked out. I don't want to sweat it too much for now, but I wanted to get this video out as fast as possible, talking about the new system and the way that it's designed. Definitely let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And if you got any feedback that you'd want to pass on to the developers, I can't promise to pass along at all, but I will try to sort of filter through it and see like, hey, are there points here that really resonate with me? I'll certainly pass those along. I think this direction for the equipment system is just way more appealing. And the big takeaway from all of this is like once players are directed to have an emotional investment in something, it's very hard to then change a player's emotional investment. We're all extremely invested in our equipment. We're all extremely invested financially and emotionally in our iconic crystals and talents on the equipment. So building off of that, I think, is a huge win and gives us something to collect. And I don't know, are you hyped about these changes? I think these could be cool. Drop a like on the vid if you enjoy these late night upgrade updates. It's like, I don't know, midnight for me. And I think I conveyed pretty much everything, but I'll update the pinned comment if there's anything else that I need to add. If you want to see the original video where I was like, whoa, pump the brakes on crafting stuff until we know how this new stuff works, card will be in the end screen for that if you want to see the details on what was originally proposed. But like at this point, it doesn't really matter. This is the direction we're headed. And I think this direction is really, really good. And I really like that the developers are doing player councils to sort of talk through, hey, what do you think of these changes before they implement them? I think that is a amazing strategy. Until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.